Coach, how do you think Christian Brown and Peyton Watson have done so far? Obviously, CB's been here before, but maybe Peyton in particular in this action.
Oh, I think Peyton's done a really good job. I think his impact defensively. We showed one this morning where his presence at the rim, ability to block shots, get out and run in transition, and whether he's making or missing shots, he doesn't look like he's a fish out of water. He looks very comfortable out there. I think he's confident, and I think being in the rotation for 82 games has allowed him to kind of settle into this. And he was around it last year, not really a part of it on the court. And I think just being around the team and knowing his teammates and coaches believe in him has given him that confidence to go out there and just play his game. So I think both he and CB are doing really well.
Coach Jim, anything that you have not been asked about Aaron Gordon that maybe that you'd like to add to what he's given this team? Something everybody, so it's all been asked about him.
Yeah, it really has. And if it hasn't been asked, I go out of my way to make sure I speak about him because of how important Aaron is. And you look at his performance last night and his impact, the scoring, the rebounding, the playmaking, the toughness, the physicality. He's being asked to guard LeBron James and Anthony Davis for 40-plus minutes a night. And what you love about Aaron Gordon is that there's never any complaining. There's never any. He just goes out there and does his job. And I think he's a terrific embodiment of being truly selfless across the board. And very, very thankful that we made that trade all those years ago to bring him here. And when you add a guy like Aaron Gordon, KCP, to a bunch of guys that you've drafted, that's a championship roster right there.
You know a lot about the history of the Nuggets. Do you think that's maybe one of the biggest trades ever in history, do you think?
Well, I'd say my 9 years, yeah. I mean, it was, and obviously when you make a trade of that magnitude, you have to give something up. And Gary Harris was such a big part of my early years here in Denver. And love Gary, miss Gary, but getting a guy like Aaron Gordon in today's NBA who can guard multiple positions. And now he's a starting power forward, a backup center, and he's just really doing it all for us right now. But I can't speak to all the other coaches and how they felt, but I think last 9 years picking up Aaron Gordon and KCP, those are difference makers. That definitely moved the needle and put us in a position once we were healthy to win a championship.
You talked about AG's sacrifice. What does sacrifice mean to this team, do you think, and to a championship team?
Oh, it's being selfless, accepting your role. It's never about the individual. We always talk about we, not me, and checking your ego out the door. And if you're going to win a championship, you can't have 5 guys that are, stars in terms of, we have Nikola Jokic and we have Jamal Murray, and people talk about them all the time. But the play of KCP, his defense on D'Angelo Russell last game, the play of Aaron Gordon, the play of Michael Porter, the guys off the bench, you can't win a championship with just Nikola. Everybody else has to step up, and that's what we did last year. And through 3 games now in the first round, you're seeing that once again. We had 4 guys with 20 points in Game 3, and that speaks to the quality of our depth.
What does it say that you guys were able to, just kind of weather that storm at the beginning of the game last night and take that punch? And, what were you guys able to do to just kind of steady that? And how do you do that tomorrow when that wave of emotion comes inevitably?
Well, I think you have to understand, why it got off to the start that it did. And we just watched film for a while, and the beginning of the game, we just fueled their break. It was poor offensive possessions, poor shots, or turnovers, and they were shot out of a cannon. And so obviously 13 turnovers, 20 points. At home, we did a great job of not allowing that to happen. So tomorrow, if we're going to have any chance of trying to close it out, we can't beat ourselves. We can't give them that life and the energy that they had. And then I think it was really important in each of the timeouts early in that first quarter, very calm, very, understand what we have to do to get back in this game. And we've been down before. And so our guys have a quiet confidence that no matter how the game starts, good or bad, we know there's a lot of basketball left to be played. And we have to get back to playing Nugget basketball, which is what we've done, especially in the second half of each of the first 3 games.
Coach, is there any update on Reggie Jackson, that sprained ankle?
it's sprained, and we'll see if he's available tomorrow. He's been getting treatment all morning, and so we'll see if he's available. But I'd say he's probably questionable at this point in time.
If not, I'm sorry, if not Reggie, who steps in the rotation, or do you know that yet?
No, we'll figure it out once we know if Reggie's available or not. But we've used a lot of different guys in that spot, and I'm sure whoever we ask to step up will do a great job.
Michael, in recent years, in what ways have you seen the group use setbacks or injuries to help build the resiliency that this club has?
Well, you look at our journey. This is our 6th year in a row of making the playoffs, and prior to last season, we had never accomplished our goal of winning a championship, and we weathered storms of Jamal and his ACL, Michael Porter missing a playoff series, heartache and heartbreak from not getting over the hump. But we all knew that once we got healthy and we added the pieces that we added, that we'd put ourselves in great position to win. And I think if you look back in NBA history, every great team, every great player has to go through that heartache and pain. And if it was easy, everybody would do it. It's not easy. And I think last year was a great example of that for Nikola and Jamal and that group to finally, after 7, 8 years, to get through and finally become a world champion. And this year will only be that much harder.
Michael, how comfortable are you with the shots that Jamal's getting?
Yeah, I think comfortable. He's a tough shot maker. I think there are games where he's getting great looks that we as a team right now are not shooting the ball well. Obviously, outside of Nikola and Michael from three-point line, we have not shot the ball well at all. But I think Jamal is getting pretty good looks off the double teams. Second unit, they've been going really aggressive and blitzing him, not as much in game 3. But then I also think sometimes we as a team are getting caught, not just Jamal, early in that game 3, playing in a crowd, tough shots, they're all collapsing. And so just continuing to make the right reads, read the defense. And but Jamal is a gamer, man, and we've seen him make all those tough shots before, and I'm sure he'll find a way to get his rhythm going again.
Closeout games are always hard. Obviously, you guys, closed it out last year in the finals. That's the hardest closeout game ever. Is there an extra confidence now in these closeout games, knowing that you've probably played that hardest closeout game?
Well, yeah, we had to win 4 of those last year to win a championship, so our guys understand that this will be the hardest game of the series, and they're not going to go out without a fight. We know that. They have Hall of Famers, some of the all-time greats playing for them, and their backs are against the wall. So how do we trick our minds to becoming the more desperate team, the more urgent team? And as I always talk about, they're not going to give it to us. If we want to try to close this out tomorrow, we're going to have to go into that arena and take it from them for 48 minutes. And that'll be a hell of a challenge. And I think all of our guys are looking forward to it.
You talked before the last game, but you still feel like you guys haven't played that well. How much more do you have to show? How much more do you have left?
Oh, I think a lot. I mentioned that three-point shooting. We're a good shooting team that is not making any shots right now from the perimeter outside of Michael and Nikola. And so I know that Jamal, I know that KCP, guys off of our bench, we're a much better shooting team than we showed. And then last night defensively, 70 points in the paint we allowed, 25 in transition we allowed. We've done a really good job on the glass, but the most concerning thing with the paint last night, aside from transition, was the one-on-one defense, the blow-bys. We had 13 blow-bys last night for, I think, over 20 points. So just sitting down, guarding, having KYP discipline, and if a player does get beat, we have to have the necessary help behind that. But yeah, we're never satisfied. We're always trying to find ways to be better and improve, because that's what it's going to take just to move forward. That's what the playoffs are always about.
Thanks, Coach.
All right. Thanks.